You are watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and I'm here with Jessica Zempel, founder and author of Shuck This Way. Check out this book, you guys. I am just so excited to meet you, Jessica. I love the title of what you do, Shuck This Way, Life Shucks. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Life shucks.
It does. It cracks you open, doesn't it?
It cracks you open. I love your phrase, helping people shuck open their shells of fear with love to let their pearls shine.
Yep.
I love this.
Yes.
Okay. And I say shucks all the time. And really, I always say the SH word. And then I follow it up with, shucks. But my kids hear me say the curse word all the time. But shuck is it's just so perfect in two different ways because it means one thing, the verb.
Yep.
And then also it can be used for aw shucks. Aw shucks.
If you can imagine, I laugh every day.
And the play on life sucks / shucks. So let's talk. Tell me about you first.
Okay.
Where are you from?
I'm from Minnesota.
Okay. I love Minnesotans. We all know this about me. I've spent so much time in Minnesota, and everyone I meet from Minnesota is just the loveliest human.
Aww.
So I already love you.
There we go.
I'm making gross generalizations here, but I'm allowed to do that in the positive way, am I not?
You can, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then how did you end up in San Diego?
It was a lifestyle change. I was living in Chicago, kind of in the rat race, and realized...
Were you in business?
I was.
Okay.
I was doing M&A work back then.
Okay.
Yeah, and realized it just really wasn't the life for me. So I moved out to San Diego, and I have changed my life in so many ways. And
when you moved here, had you been here before and you thought, I want to live there, or did you just like pick on the map and say, that looks sunny, I'm going there?
Well, it was actually a divestiture I was working on here, and I got off the plane, and it hit me. I said, wait a minute, people actually live here? Like in Minnesota, we just vacation in San Diego. We don't live in San Diego.
What's funny is that when I would vacation in Minnesota, and the people that I would stay with, I was a kid because I'd go visit my mom's best friend, and all the kids were like, the teenagers, why on earth are you here for your summer vacation when it's hot and muggy? But it was beautiful, and I loved it.
Right.
But the winters, maybe not so much.
Yeah, they do get a little long out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you just moved up here or over here. And then how did you get this idea to start a book? Or, what came first? Was it like your website and kind of helping individuals crack open their shell, and then you wrote the book? Or what was the schedule? What do I want to say? What word do I want to say?
Yeah,
the story time.
Yeah. So by all contexts, I'd made it. I was a young executive doing incredible, interesting work all around the world, and I was miserable. And so it sent me on this...
That is a story I hear very often, right? Is people are chasing this dream or this thing, and it's elusive, and they're like, wait, what's going on? So tell me what happened.
Well, for me, I was chasing money because I felt like that meant freedom and safety. And ultimately, what it did is it changed me to a career that wasn't fulfilling me at all. And so I went on this spiritual journey and ended up at the University of Santa Monica, and I got a master's there. And it's essentially 2 years of learning about me, what was holding me back from living my best life and honing in on my intuition, finding my voice. And it changed everything for me.
So that's a degree in that?
Yeah. Can you believe it?
What's the degree called?
It's positive psychology.
Wow. I was going to say it's psychology of some sort, right? Okay. That's amazing.
It's crazy.
So you get to learn about yourself as you're going, and then you learn how to tap into that for other people.
And not everybody in the program actually becomes a life coach.
Okay.
But because it was so transformative for me, that's what I wanted to do for other people. It just... it changed my life in so many ways, just had so much more courage, confidence, strength, and and life's been marvelous since.
Do you think that part of it also comes with I do think you need to study and learn, and it's almost like though you have to go through what you went through and go through the chasing and having that internal realization of maybe that's not the end all be all, because it's hard to tell a 20-year-old or a 22-year-old who's in the hustle that wants those things and they think they see the shiny, right? That's what it's all about. And especially now with Instagram and social media, putting these pictures out there for the world to see that this is, something that it's not. But then you get to go through what you went through. Hopefully, ideally, people go through that. And then they find people like you to help them to unshuck themselves. I don't know. 44 ways to shuck open your shell and shine. So talk to me about some of your tips or what's in the book. So the highlights.
Yeah, so the book is just the different techniques I use with individuals when I'm coaching them. And so I always say what I do is not complicated. It's actually pretty straightforward and simple, but it's not easy. And so it takes a lot of courage and strength.
It's never easy work, is it? To look inward and to go and to, it's so easy for me, and I think most people, to place the blame or to look elsewhere. And I was saying on a different show, I've heard the phrase, it's not them. And it's like, if something's a problem,
Yep.
If I'm not the solution, if I'm not the problem, there is no solution, right? So sometimes, but that's kind of crummy, right? A lot of times to look yourself going, oh shoot, I need to fix something.
Or you could look at it as good news, because then you can actually do
Right.
something to change it.
That's true. It's empowering.
That's right.
Yeah, and to
Yeah.
reframe maybe how it looks,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. And that's what the whole pearl metaphor is all about.
Oh,
It's
there's
we all
pearls
have grit.
there.
Yes.
In the signpost. I
Yeah.
love that. Do you say that? Pearls? That's amazing. Did you design that?
I did with an amazing artist named Stacy. So,
Okay, I
yeah,
love it.
She did all the graphics.
Trust the
for me.
chaos. Oh my God. This book is made for me. I don't know. I just cannot wait to go home and read this tonight. So tell me, so you were telling me about some of your tips for people.
Oh yeah. So first, it's the grit in our life that creates the pearl. So I think that's really important for everybody to know that we all go through challenges, and it's what we do with the challenges that actually matter. So
Yeah.
if you can cultivate it into the pearl and realize it's actually part of your beauty, you're way ahead of the game with everything else in life.
And it's really it is life, because we're all going to be dealt. We don't know what's going to happen. And when we're young and teenagers, we think, everything's going to be pretty and shiny.
Yep.
And invariably, there's things we're all going to go through, any range of things. And it's how we show up when it's not good and things aren't going our way is the biggest thing, right? But it takes so much. So it's so great that people like you are out there to help people. So people then would find you to be a life coach, was one of the terms, right, that you used?
Yep.
And so is that, it could be like, because it's not necessarily a therapist, right?
Correct.
Yeah. What's the distinction?
So the overgeneralizations are therapy really looks at the past and heals the past. Life coaching looks at the future and creates the future. And so with my training and education, I actually do both. I bring in some of the stuff from the past only to accelerate them in creating the life that they want to live. So
You kind of need to know that, right? The backstory.
Yes.
Yeah. It informs everything. I mean, I would think, right? It informs patterns and here's one of the things too that I want to talk to you about is that I've read so many different self-help books through the years.
Yeah.
And I'll get maybe halfway through or 3/4 through and I'll be like, okay, I'm good. I learned the most part, and then I'll do it for a couple of weeks. And then life gets in the way and life gets lifey, and then you just move on to other things. I mean, I am in recovery, so I stopped drinking 6 years ago, and I stick to that I've learned to do. But as far as like different books and tools and tips or diets or whatever it may be, I'm like, I can't stick to that. So what are some of your tools for people to really get it? So it's not just like a one-off, it's like a life-changing thing.
gosh, there's so many. Some of the easier ones to start with would be journaling. And there's different types of journaling that can help you. So you can track your patterns, so you can see where your upsets are coming from, and then you can watch
Like
them
your triggers, right? Is that kind of the same thing? Okay.
That's right. So if you're standing in the Starbucks line and somebody cuts you off and your reaction is bigger than it should be.
Yeah. I could be guilty of that. The freeway, for sure. Or, you know what's the trigger is the school pickup for kids. Any mom in the world can know that is the biggest trigger
There's a
in
lot
life.
of shucking we could do there.
Let's shuck the carpool pickup line, shall we? So that's a good thing, though, to notice your triggers and to journal.
Yep. And so with that specific example, you could look at, why am I so upset that somebody's cutting me off?
Why am I irrationally upset at this person not following the rules?
Oh, that would be a good one too. So you dig into that.
Because that's what I'm like. There's rules, people. They've been here all year long.
Yeah.
Why are you better than everyone else to not follow? Look at me. I'm fired up about this topic. Yeah. Jason's reminding me to breathe. Okay, so Okay, we've got so much shucking to be done here. But so the journaling, and I do gratitude lists too in the morning, which is kind of like a form of journaling for me. It's just shorter. I'm not writing full sentences. But I've noticed that helps for me.
Yep. Another one is compassionate self-forgiveness. So just really giving yourself permission to be human. We are all making mistakes all the time, and we're all learning and growing. And the worst thing we can do is criticize ourselves and judge ourselves.
Yes,
Because that
I'm so
adds to-
stupid, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, so that would be another thing, is just really loving yourself. And
Okay, we've got to take a break,
Okay.
but I want to come back because I've got more shucking.
Okay.
More shucking to talk about. I can't wait. I love everything about this segment. Everyone at home, stick around. We've got more America Trends and more shucking to be done with Jessica Zempel right after this. You are watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and I have one of my new best friends. I'm just going to say it. Jessica Zempel, founder of Shuck This Way, author of Shuck This Way, and you are founder of Life Shucks.
Yep, you got it.
Life Shucker.
Yes.
I love this. All the things shucks.
Yes.
And I just want to sit down and read every single page of this book. We were talking before the break. Oh, there's your Meet the BADASS Mother Shucker. Love this. This is up my alley, right? You guys knew this was going to be a great segment. So we were talking before the break about self-love as being one of the tips that people can do to unshuck themselves, or to shuck open their shell of fear, right? And the things that kind of keep us back in life.
That's right.
And self-love and self-forgiveness, those are really, they seem kind of simple. Like, yeah, of course I love myself, but it's not an easy thing for a lot of people to do, or to forgive themselves. Yeah. For, if I happen to raise my voice at my kids, or something happens where I think, it was not the best form, that's not who I want to be. But, going through that process to kind of say, maybe that wasn't how I wanted to show up, but I can go make it right and talk to them. And I always try to circle back with them and have a conversation about mom's not perfect.
Yeah.
And let's talk about this and make it kind of a teachable moment for me and them. But I think it's not an easy thing to do for people. Is that some of the things you help coach people through?
Yeah, it is really hard, because we all want to show up as our best, I think. And when we do make mistakes, or what we deem as mistakes, it's hard to own it. And so that
I
you're
love what
going
you
back.
said there, what we deem as mistakes. Because sometimes it's really not even that big of a deal.
Well, and everything we do is actually out of positive intention. So even some of the things that are less desirable, and I'm not condoning any terrible behavior, but even the worst things you can think of in society, behind that is somebody's positive intention.
This is so key to so many things I think about in relationships. Yeah. It's when people, let's say two coworkers are working on something together and someone doesn't do something. We actually just talked about this in a segment yesterday. It's like, maybe they didn't get their work done, but it's because they're taking care of their parent that's sick, and they had an intention, or they did something, but they didn't mean to do it in a mean way.
That's right.
It's just whatever's going on with them. So giving people space and grace for other people and yourself, right?
100%. Because we see the world through our own eyes and our own filters and our experiences. And so we assume everybody else is going to make the same choices we will. And then there becomes a gap, and in that gap is where the disappointment and disagreements occur. But if you can actually step into their shoes, be empathic, get curious. I wonder why they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Let's ask rather than...
Ask the question.
Yes.
Have a conversation.
Absolutely.
And, there's the old phrase about what happens when you assume, and it's the dumbest thing, but it's so true. And I say it as an adult all the time.
Yeah.
And I say it, like, as out of you and me. And it's so true, because whenever I catch myself doing something and I think, oh, I assumed this, and then I realize, no, I shouldn't be assuming anything. I learned that in 4th grade, or whatever grade. Whatever grade you're allowed to say ASS. I don't know what that is. But, so I want to talk about something that you talked about, which is moving away from busyness to balance.
Yes.
Do you talk about that in this book, or is that on your website?
A little bit.
Okay.
More it's in my teachings, like the workshops and seminars I do.
And when I read that, it's because it's so moving away from busyness to what is it? To balance. And balance is like such a key kind of buzzword these days,
Yeah.
right? And as a working single mom, I sometimes think, yeah, that's just not going to happen. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
But, is it a way of like reframing what balance even means and kind of giving ourselves grace? Or talk to me a little bit about how we can reframe that.
I think that's the perfect place to start. So one, really taking an assessment of your day, your week, your month. How are you using your time? So I always talk about energy as like a currency. So we have so many units of energy to use in a given day. And how are we going to spend them? And some things will fill our energy and lift us up, and other things will drain us a little bit, like the pickup line at school might drain you a little bit, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
Or maybe
only a couple days a week, thank God. But yeah.
thankfully, yeah. Thank you to those others helping.
Exactly. Thank you to the carpoolers. Yes.
Yes. But and so really assessing how you're using your energy, and then getting very clear on what is important to you, because there are so many little things that you can cut out in the middle of the day that you can refocus that energy and use it where it matters. The other thing I talk about is using your best energy for your most important things. So if you want to write a book and your best thinking is in the morning, use that time for you rather than paying the bills or
Other than
something
my
else.
job. Sorry, guys. But I have some time in the morning where I am just like perky, I'm good, my brain's on all cylinders, and then by about 11-ish, I think I'm done. And then it's hard to get it back. And so maybe then at nighttime I have another peak couple hours, but I do try to sit down and bang out the big chunks of things that I need that take brain power in that time, because then it's done.
Yeah.
At 2 p.m, forget about it. That's sleep time.
Exactly. So know when your strengths are and use those times. And then also there's so many things that we waste energy on that we don't need to. So worrying, regret, all of that.
Okay. So going back to the being mad at ourselves for doing things.
Yeah.
That is taking energy that we don't need to be spending on that, because it's like kind of forgive yourself and let it go. And then it's not serving me. That's, I think, a term I learned in yoga or something, release what's not serving you. And again, it sounds kind of woo-woo and she and all the things, but it works, right?
It does.
It helps. Do you actually encourage practices like yoga or meditation and those kinds of things in your practice?
I do. I think everybody should have like a morning routine. And whatever that is for you, whether you're spiritual or not, that doesn't matter to me as much, but more like, is it going to get your coffee so you can connect with community? Is it calling your favorite friend that day? Movement, I think, is really important as well, because that helps move energy through. And that's what emotion is energy in motion. So if we are supporting ourselves in moving energy through in a healthy way, then it doesn't come out sideways like getting mad at the customer service rep
or the customer service rep. Yeah, that happens too. God, I have so many things that I want to talk to you about. So tricks for staying through with this type of program, even more specifically when it's COVID time, because I think this is a time when people are kind of coming into their home. And sometimes I don't even want to get out of my pajamas and I just want to be in my house, and not commune with other people. So what are some of the tips there?
It could be finding a shuck buddy, is what I like to say, is somebody that you trust.
That's what I call a BITCH buddy, but yeah, essentially that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Someone you can just be like,
that's
the
right.
carpool line.
Right. And somebody that you can be human with. They get to see your quote unquote dark side. They get to see your mistakes. And then also somebody you celebrate with. So often I think we're focused on growing and changing and being better. And we forget that we've done a lot of things really, really well already. And if we can focus on that, it'll actually help you propel forward, because now you'll have more evidence of why you're going to be successul with whatever you do. So a shuck buddy can do that.
Love that.
Yeah, if you've got...
Jason's going to be my shuck buddy now. Okay. You're it. Tag, you're it.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
Where can people buy your book?
Amazon, or go to my website, lifeshucker.com.
Lifeshucker.com, and social media as well?
Lifeshucker,
Lifeshucker, at Lifeshucker.
Yep.
And author of the book, Shuck This Way. Shuck This Way. I love it. It's been so great chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Everyone at home, stick around for more America Trends. We have more right after this. And find us on social media at America Trends TV, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And there is Jessica at lifeshucker.com.